Hello there, it's me, Sari. Today I thought I'd show you how I made this. I've used some embossing powders to make resist technique, and I have done some stamping as well as making my own masks and make them look like stamps. And well, let's see where I'll end up with this. I did get a head start. In order to get this effect, I have embossed some of the stamps with clear embossing, and I did put 3 different kinds of stamps there. They're all from Prima Marketing, and then I did put a bit of a splotchy thing there and a watch. So this is what I have started making, and let's see if I can get you in the right place. In order to, well, now in this case I just made my own stencils, die cutting them with my dies, with my Big Shot, and I took a regular printing paper, folded it so I could have a double, so I could get 2 die cuts at the same time. In this case I was thinking that I could make it perhaps a little bit different. And in order to make masks that actually stick to the paper for a little while, I'm going to spray some remount spray on them, and I'm going to use a lot of love words just to emphasize that. I mean, it could be fun to make something. Let's see. And I'm going to reuse the love, actually that one, well, you never know. I mean, I might as well spray a little bit more on that one. And I do believe I have got another one, and I've got an arrow that I'm going to put there, and there's that love word. And I'm going to take the other arrow. So, let's see. So the remount spray looks like this. You need to shake it a little bit, and then, I mean, it's a good thing to actually have an old newspaper or something, because you should be at an angle or from a height. And since that one flipped, I'm thinking that I have to do a little bit more with that. So I'm hoping that will stick anyway. And after a couple of sprays on this paper, you need to turn the paper over so it won't stick together too hard, let's say, like that. And what I did afterwards, I just put them in this sketchbook, just so I know where my handmade masks are, or stencils for that matter. So I'm going to flip that one over, take away my scrap piece of paper, so I don't have anything more that I need here. So I'm going to start off with this love word, and if I don't remember incorrectly, this is a die that I have used from Marianne Design. I'm just going to put it there, and I'm going to turn the paper upside down, perhaps not completely upside down, but I'm going to flip it. I'm just going to have a look, see, does it look straight? I'm just going to press it there. And I'm going to go for the love word down here, and this means that I will get it a little bit on top of the clock, it doesn't matter. And I've got another love word. I love this font. It's a really nice font, actually. So perhaps I could have it running like so, a little bit across. Or perhaps I could actually use the line. Just make it work like that. There could be too many love words here, I see. Perhaps I should settle for less. And then I've got an arrow. It could be fun to put an arrow somewhere. Well, let's see. I could actually put it there, perhaps. And where should I have the other arrow then? And the other love words? Let's see. just to make things simple, I'm just working with these in a diagonal fashion, really. So what about the arrow? I mean, that one is going there. Should I have it going here, perhaps? So you could use any kind of die cut, really. Just die cut them out of printing paper. I mean, that is thin enough. And I'm just going to go the opposite way here. I mean, even though the arrow is coming towards it, I'm just going to make it work. And then just fold your paper together, stow it away. And then it's good to have some kind of a working surface, because now you're going to start using your distress inks. And in this case, I did use a rather pale color, but the thing is that if you don't have enough color here, you won't be able to see these embossed bits, so you needn't be too shy of color. So let's see, I'm a little bit worried about this one. This one doesn't seem like it's sticking down to the paper completely, so I have to be a little bit I'm not looking for the right word now. I have to take care where I do by pouncing. So I'm just going to go for some pumice stone. It's a light greyish colour. And I'm just going to use a distress or blending tool, really. I'm just going to take some colour from this one. I'm just going to pounce it. And I might even just twist and turn this a little bit. And where I can, I'm going to work it. But since these are out of paper, I mean, if I'm going to start rubbing really hard, I mean, I'm sure the paper will break, because I didn't get the mask to stick that hard. So there's a lot of pouncing you have to do all around the paper like this. So I hope you are patient with me. You could of course spray some colour on this one, and I will do that just in a little bit. I just want to get that base going here. And the more bold you are, the more nice effects you will get later on when I'm showing you some more techniques in this layout. Or in this paper, because I'm thinking that you could actually create your own scrapbooking paper. This is a version of collage stamping, I'm sure, with just some different methods. And now, you see, this one didn't stuck at all. Or stick at all, should I say, perhaps. Sometimes I just don't know the words, see. I'm going to take it up again, and now that I'm putting it down here, it's going to stick to the magazine, and that could be a drawback depending on the paper you're using. Or the die cut you have used, because if it's too thin lines, but it could actually grip. But that could also be an effect, I'm sure. You should let it dry for a couple of seconds, 10 to 20 seconds, and then just put it there. Oopsie. So here I can actually rub it a little bit harder. And my arm is getting tired, I'm telling you. Oopsie. Telling you, you had better not forget about your routine. Just pounce it and you will succeed better. So now I'm thinking that I have covered most of it. Normally I wouldn't use distressings like this if I was going for a blended effect, a background effect, but in this case, since I'm just putting on a base, I'm just settling for this. So now I'm going to take a shoebox and I'm just going to put the paper inside, and I'm going to do a little bit of spraying like this. Just so I have something going there. And now it's time to dry this. And the masks will warp like this. I'm just going to get something. So here's a water brush. So what I'll do next is I'll just take these stencils and put them back in my book. I mean, you could actually try die cutting these out of plastic. It could be a better solution, I'm not sure. But, I mean, these are they aren't that expensive to make, so I mean, you could die cut some more if they start working as they should. Inexpensive, I was looking for that word now. So let's see. And it looks like this. It's a really good mess there. So what I did next was I used some kind of a writer pen with a small tip, and you could have actually left the masks there and drawn the lines outside, but since there is some kind of embossing effect or resist effect here, well, sometimes the pencil it just skips and goes somewhere else that perhaps you don't want to. So in this case, I'm not looking to make this perfect. See, isn't that nice? And let's see now. I'm just going to draw the line. So in this case, I've sort of stamped these, or made these into stamps. Let's see, where is that one going? There somehow. It's a bit difficult to see underneath a stamp like this, but I'm just going to go there anyway. So I could continue with all of the stencils like that. And let's see, I'm going to, I think I'll just do one more, just so you see what I'm getting at. Here I can't do that much, I suppose, because I think that when I'm going to add on some distress ink on top of that L, I can't really make it work. So that is the drawback of actually putting the embossing powder before I did the masking. But I did have something in mind. I mean, if you do some distress coloring on your paper, I mean, it's going to stay wet for a long time. And if I'm going to add on some clear embossing powder after, or perhaps some other color, it's going to stick to that distress ink. But since I'm using clear embossing powder, I'm sure I could have put it afterwards and still have gotten that effect. So it's a nice thing to actually compare that. Let's see, I'm going to take that arrow as well. Just by tracing the letters like this, you could actually get some practice and understanding of how you could make your own handmade letters. It could be rather fun actually. Just imagining how I trace these and just sort of copy them in your mind. Put pen to paper and try to make something out of it. And this is also quite soothing because you do have to concentrate. So your mind has to be in just one place while you're doing it. Of course, it could have been a good idea actually to just think about what kind of pen is this. Is this waterproof? It doesn't say. Is it acid-free, archival quality, pigment ink? So since it is pigment ink, I'm thinking that a pigment ink pad is something that I use when I'm stamping if I'm going to use some watercoloring afterwards. So let's hope for the best. I'm thinking that I might actually do all of the stenciled words and things, because if I'm going to continue on that project that I showed in the first place, I did have an idea for that from the get-go, but I was a little bit afraid of going too far with it, so that's why I'm making another one, just to see the difference and just to ensure or make myself believe or understand that you could go further, or you should stop where you believe you should stop. So let's see which common sense will prove me right. And the fun thing about these dies actually is that you could die cut them out of funky foam, and then you could use them as stamps. And if you have stamps, well, you can do lots of things with stamps. You could stamp with them on shrink plastic, and then you could make these into decorations. And just by a kissing technique with another, let's say a pattern stamp, you could make a pattern onto these. But then you have to make sure that you're stamping, if you're using a word, you need to make sure that the text doesn't go reversed. Sometimes that happens, so you need to practice that on a piece of scrap paper perhaps. there's something there. So there it is. And what I did next, well, was that I actually did colour, put on some even more ink. And since I made this sort of green blue, I'm thinking of going in another colour direction. So let's see if I would go there perhaps with some orange and pink and purple even, or should I go with some orange, pink and blue, just to see where I could end up. And I'm starting off with some really light colours, so let's see. I'm going to go for here is an pink ink pad, Victorian Velvet. So now I will boldly, you know what I did, come to think of it, this is what I did. I coloured these in really boldly with the distress ink from the blending tool like this. This is actually what I did, come to think of it. So I'm going to colour the love words with pink, just to get some cohesion really. So this is what I did. Sometimes, you know, you forget all about all your new thoughts. And since I'm not looking for perfection, I mean, this is a really nice technique, just to go there, dare to do the unthinkable. And it doesn't matter if it's going outside the lines, now does it? So I'm just going to put it like that. And if I don't remember incorrectly, had I now used distress markers to colour these words in? So I believe that Tim Holtz once said in one of his videos that if I were to then go after with some distress ink on top with a blending tool and everything, the colours wouldn't contaminate, so they would actually stay layer upon layer, and that's a nice thing to think about. I'm thinking that orange is nice. I mean, I always like orange, don't I? So I could actually go for wild honey. I haven't used that one for a while. Or should I decide on making the arrows orange, perhaps? Orange and then... No, I'm thinking that I might actually skip my thought here. I'm going to go for some peacock feathers and just colour this arrow in with some peacock feathers. So I had 2 arrows there, so now it's time to go for the orange. And in this case I'm just going to go around. I don't necessarily have to cover the words, but I'm just going to put in some orange here, so I will make those embossed images pop out even more. So I'm thinking that if I go from here, I might be able to make it work. So now I'm here. So let's compare these. I could add on some more colour, I'm sure. Let's go for something that I usually don't dare to do, perhaps. Should I go for something brown? Or browner? Rusty hinge, perhaps. And this one is sort of brown, so I'm thinking, oh shit, well, it's a sort of orange hue, so I might as well go with the same one. And I don't have to go all overboard with this one, I'm just going to put it around the edge there. Since I'm thinking about the next step, I'm thinking, should I have even more color here? Mostly I think that a yellow color really ties things together, so I'm going to go for the mustard seed here. And I'm going to drag it in a little bit here and there. I mean, sometimes when I have a couple of colors that I don't like the result of having been mixed together, then a little bit of yellow really enhances things. I mean, in this case I'm using a watercolor paper, and I do like the texture result I'm getting here. Let's see. Now I need to find the lid for that yellow. There it is. I mean, it looks like that spray, that's why it looks like this. I was thinking, how on earth did I manage to color with the inks like that? But I love this sprayed effect, so perhaps I should go there with some more spray. Come to think of it. So let's think about what color to use as well. The drawback, of course, now, since I'm putting these on and I haven't got the stencil here anymore, what will happen when I'm spraying? Well, it could be a nice effect or it could be catastrophic. Let's see. Should I go for something green perhaps? I haven't got that much green now, have I? So just by adding a little bit or more a spray effect. And something tells me that I should stop there. And I'm going to dry this. So the next step I did was to actually go in there with some color on top of that layer that I have colored in before. So now I'm looking for that pink, and I'm just going to take a bit of ink on an acrylic block like this. I'm putting some pink there, and I do need to put that peacock feathers as well. So in this case I'm thinking of actually putting a white piece of paper underneath, so I know where the colors are and can see what they look like, even though I know. I'm still going to go there like that. So I'm just going to pick up a little bit of color and put it here just to get some more definition to these. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect, it shouldn't be perfect, because it should look watercolored. And just put it there. I mean, you could build up the layers as you go along. Just add on some more color. And even when you have the color a little bit wet, just go in there and drop some of the color there. That makes it more vivid, alive looking, so to speak. So all of the love words, somehow I need to make it work with these as well, because I don't want it to be strong like that. So I just put it somewhere, I'm going to drag it as far as I can, and I go back to pick up some more from that place, because I don't want it to be too strong. And down here it could be quite difficult, but I'm still trying to make it work underneath there. Just enough for this word, a little bit here and a little bit there. And if I would feel like it, I could go back with some more ink later on. But in this case it looks a little bit more vivid, doesn't it? It doesn't just lie flat there. And I'm going to clean up the brush in between, and then I'm going to go in with some peacock feathers. And this is a little bit stronger color, so I needn't take that much. It might be a good thing to wet the surface before, just to get the water going. Press the brush a little bit, and then take the ink, just to see where it ends up. It'll be easier to move in that way. Like so. And clean it up. So here we are with those. So my next step was to take some water, do a bleached effect, and I'm just going to spray some water to my fingers like that, and I'm just going to splot it there. I'm going to let the water sit. Oopsie, I got myself a shower now. Well, that one looks a little bit too much. I'm just going to take some paper and lift it up before it bleaches the paper completely. And I'm just going to, I mean, having let the paper or the water sit on the colours for a little bit, they actually start bleaching and start giving me a really nice drop effect. And this isn't something that you should have control over. I mean, you should just believe in the process and let it take you where it takes you. And if you don't like it, well, embrace imperfection, as Tim Holtz would say. Learn to like it. That's what I have to do. So sometimes when I have a plan and it doesn't go my way, and it really does, and I'm thinking, okay, it should be like that then. And I have learned something new in the process. So, I mean, you needn't blotch it off like that, but I do like to actually see the result quite quickly. So, you see all these speckles of water? I mean, this is a really nice technique. So this is also a way, I mean, if you feel like you have too strong colours, just spray some water on there, and then you will actually bleach it out and get some depth to it. So, I mean, this is where I stopped, apart from the fact that I had sooted the edges like this. I just took some ink on a bit of a kitchen sponge like this. And I just ink the edges just to get that definition. I mean, this really gives it the final pop. And if you wanted to look stronger, you could of course just go with the ink pad altogether around the edges, just to sharpen that edge. But in this case, I'm rather happy with it. And what should I do next? Well, in my mind, I saw myself stamping, continue this stamping that I had planned. And I did take out quite a few stamps, which I store nowadays in my stufftainers. Stufftainers are, these things come in 3 different thicknesses. So this is the thinnest one. There is a thicker and a really thick one, I believe. So what I could do now is that I could either go back with the stencils and stamp behind them, so to speak. I could try it out on some of them, and perhaps I could do something on top of the others, just to see what could happen, what results I'm getting. And if I were to now just put these letters a little bit askew, I could create a shadow effect. That could be quite effective as well. But just as long as I have something to protect them. This one doesn't have any glue left, so I could take some more, or I could pay attention to how I'm stamping. So I'm going to go with the other love word here. Like that. I mean, these are a little bit warped now, so you could do better with a new mask altogether. I'm just going to try something out here. Trying to put it there somehow. And I might as well just protect this one as well, because it's a really nice effect when you have these popping out on top of the things that you are stamping on. So that's a nice effect actually. So let's just go there. Could of course spray some more respray on these if I wanted to, or I could just try and see what happens. So in this case I'm just going to start off with some splotches, because I do like splotches. I believe these are from Reprint or Reprint. It's a stamping company, or it's a wholesale company for scrapbooking items and such here in Sweden. So let's see. So they make this stamp. They make stamps and they have papers and everything, but they do have other products from Ranger and things like that. So now you see that these are escaping. Just going to put it there and hope for the best. I'm going to make just one more, so I have a triangle of splotches. Like that. Well, you know, that one could stay there. I could clean that one later. And I'm thinking that stars are always nice. I'm going to do a bit of stamping with stars now. And I do like to look at this from the proper... So let's see, I'm going to put a star there. And usually I work in a triangle when I'm doing stamping. So I usually like to take the stamp 3 times. And butterflies, you could never go wrong with a butterfly now, could you? And in this case I do want control over how I'm stamping. Or inking, I should say. So let's take that butterfly and let it pop out there. And I'm just rocking that image. So where should I put the third one? Okay, let's put it up here then. Like so. What else could I put here? You know, butterflies are always nice. And I'm thinking, let's not go overboard. Well, you know, I do have this fabulous stamp. But do I have a fabulous clear block? Let's see. This is a text with the word love all over. This is a stamp that I absolutely love. This one comes from Magnolia, so I really need to make that one come to life. Somehow, somewhere. So let's see, I've got love. Could be nice here somehow. Just look at that stamp. Fabulous. So I'm just going to take them to the love words themselves to make them come together like that. I'm just going to do it once more. Up here. Let's see if I can put it there perhaps. So I still want to see quite a lot of it. And the star is going to be in the front or in the back, I'm not sure. Both of them show actually. It was a really nice thing. And to finish things off, of course, I need to put in a star. Oh, I'm sorry, a heart. This block is too small. You know, I would like to clean those stamps before I take them off, really. But let's see, I'm going to use a star. And what if I were to stamp it with red? Just to have a break here. I'm going to take some barn door, even though I do like the fired brick better. Don't I have it? I do believe I have it somewhere hidden down here. No. Is that true? Don't I have that colour? I mean, that is shocking. Well, I have to settle for barn door then. The drawback of inking things with small ink pads is that the colour actually goes into the motif. So I'm going to try to see what it looks like. You know, I don't like, it's too bright. I don't like that. Well, I should go for the bigger one then. Ta-da! And I should actually just stamp it off once. My goodness! What happened here? I'm thinking that if I were to somehow put it there. It's rather faint now, isn't it? So perhaps I should try to put it there. Seems like I'm destroying the whole thing with this heart. That's what it feels like right now. So I've got my hearts there. Should I put it there then? So now it's time to reveal the thing. Is it a good thing or a bad thing? Are there any more stencils? So this is what it looks like. What do you think? Is it too messy? Is it too busy? I sort of like it. Actually. I mean, I could learn to like the hearts, I'm sure. Perhaps I shouldn't have gone there. But altogether, I just wanted to go there. I wanted to see how wild it could be in comparison to this. So which one do you prefer? Should I have stopped here or should I have gone here? Well, neither or. Here you are. There they are. Alright, I'm going to thank you for your patience and hope to see you next time. Bye bye.